So hi everyone, welcome to this new webinar that we are organizing for ActInSpace 2022. This webinar is dedicated to EUSPA. They are providing two challenges for this edition of ActInSpace, and we have with us two members of EUSPA who will just present you the two challenges they have. They will also present you what EUSPA is in detail. So I'll let them introduce themselves. So Bernardo and Marketa, I'll let you the ground.
Thank you very much, Miguel, and thank you for this opportunity. My name is Bernardo Brum, and I work in EUSPA Market Development Department. I will briefly introduce the agency and our activities. And I'm here with my colleague Marketa Gladyshev. Marketa, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you, Bernardo. My name is Marketa Gladyshev. I also work as a consultant for market development team of EUSPA. I work closely with startups, entrepreneurs, and I'm part of the entrepreneurship team. And I'm here with Bernardo to explain you about the challenges, but I will be focusing more on some use cases to give you some inspiration and also some current opportunities for startup that EUSPA is providing.
Okay, so just before I let them start with their presentation of EUSPA and the challenges, I just remind every one of you that this webinar will be recorded, of course, and it will be made available to you in a few days. We will have the links on the website, on ActInSpace website, just as the other webinars from the other sponsors of this year's edition. So don't worry if you don't, if you're not here at the beginning, if you didn't understand something, you can then review it later on, check everything later on. Don't worry about this. And of course, the challenges, they're already available on the website, so you can also find them. And as for the questions, we will take your questions, but we will answer them at the end of the presentation, if that's okay with everyone. Okay, so I'll let you follow.
Okay, let's start then with the agenda. Yes, the presentation will start with the short introduction about our agency EUSPA. Then I will present some general trends and applications, and then I will mention about talk about the particular space challenges for this competition. Then Marketa will present some use cases to provide you some inspiration, and then we will talk about some current opportunities here at EUSPA that are targeting entrepreneurs. And then we will have some Q&A time for any question you may have. Next slide, please. Okay, as I mentioned, our agency is called EUSPA, which stands for European Union Agency for the Space Program. The agency is a relatively new agency. It was created in 2021, and it is in charge of managing some of the most important EU space programs. These are Galileo and EGNOS, that are a global navigation satellite system providing positioning and timing, and EGNOS is an augmentation system that improves the position provided by Galileo. We have also Copernicus, that is the Earth observation program, providing information based on satellite and non-space data. We are also starting to develop the GovSatcom, that is a secure satellite communication system. And in the future, we will start working also with space situational awareness. Regarding the GNSS, the previous one, please, previous slide. Yeah, regarding the GNSS programs, EGNOS and Galileo, the agency operates the systems and is in charge of security and engineering, but also the market development for these markets, for these technologies. Regarding Copernicus, our agency is in charge of the market development of non-core users, which are the industrial players that develop solutions for commercialization. And for GovSatcom, we are building the network of users. At the moment, it's a very early stage. So next slide, please. To give you some idea of how how widespread these technologies are nowadays, these are some numbers of Galileo and EGNOS market uptake. So, for example, in smartphone, today we have over 3 billion Galileo-enabled smartphones. We have many car brands equipped with EGNOS and Galileo. Over 150 drone models receiver implementing Galileo and EGNOS. It is used in aviation for landing, in maritime, in search and rescue, in rail, in agriculture, etc., etc. So you can see the numbers are very important, even if the Galileo system is operative only since 2016. Next slide, please. One of our main publication is called the Market Report, EUSPA Market Report, that present the GNSS and Earth observation market trends and applications. In our agency, we are following 17 different market segments where these two programs are relevant. You can access this report. It's free of charge in our webpage, and I will invite you to do so you can find very useful information for your startup and to develop your idea with some solid information about the technology. Next slide, please. So here are the names of the 17 market segments. As you can see, they are very varied, going from agriculture, aviation, climate services, consumer solutions, emergency management, energy and raw materials, environmental monitoring, fisheries, forestry, infrastructure, insurance and finance, maritime, rail, road, space, urban development. So the applications are very wide. You can find solutions in almost every market segment. Next slide, please. Here I will present some trends that are taken from the market report. Here in this two graphs, you can see that the forecast of GNSS shipments and install base. And the trend is that in the next 10 years, this will continue to grow. And if we see the right-hand side graph, you can see that most of the receivers being used are in the consumer solutions market segment. There is also a significant share of road and automotive, and the other ones are very, very small. This is only if we are talking only here about GNSS. In the case of EUSPACE program is Galileo and EGNOS. Next slide, please. Here again, the forecast for the next 10 years, but also showing how the revenues evolve. So we have here the forecast for devices and services. And as you can see, the component of services is much more significant compared with the devices. So the added value service revenue expected to grow 11% per year, reaching around 350 billion in 2031. Next slide, please. Regarding Earth observation revenues, the total market for the overall Earth observation products and services, it has a value of 2.8 billion euros. And currently we have 14 market segments for Earth observation. And today, the most relevant market segments in these markets are urban development, cultural heritage, agriculture, climate services, and energy and raw material and infrastructure. Sorry. And this market is expected to grow. Is expected to grow in the next 10 years. Here we can see how the share. The next slide, please.
Sorry.
Here we can see the 14 Earth observation market segments. The share in 2021 in the XA, in the X, and the market share of each market segment in the YX for 2031. As you can see, the size of the bubble represents the growth of each market. And you will see, for example, that insurance and finance is one of the markets that will grow the most in the next 10 years. So it's very promising market segment to work. Then other market segments will more or less keep the same share, but it's an interesting graph to see how the markets will evolve. Next slide, please. And now I will introduce the two challenges that we presented for this ActInSpace edition. They are very broad. The idea is that almost all the ideas that you have based on the use of Galileo and Copernicus can be fit in one of these two challenges. The first challenge is about our green planet, Galileo and Copernicus for a greener planet. And here in the box you can see some examples of uses, but this is not an exhaustive list. For example, we have the conservation of ecosystems, solutions targeting green mobility, sustainable agriculture, management of energy and resources. These are any solutions that support a sustainable use of the resources, or that supports the greener planet is eligible for these challenges. The only thing here to consider, as also for the next challenge, is that it has to leverage the use of Galileo and Copernicus as a key enabler. Next slide, please. The second challenge that we presented is called Space My Life with Copernicus and Galileo. And these are solutions that consumer solutions, such as mobile apps or wearable-based apps, drones or robotics, that address major societal challenges. Some examples of areas that you can consider are the health, citizen safety and security, gaming and entertainment, sport and fitness, tourism, etc. This is just a list to provide you some example, but there are other areas that you can explore and propose for this challenge. And now I will give the floor to Marketa. Marketa will present to you some use cases that some of the startups develop and can be also inspiring for you. And then she will provide you some information about some opportunities for startups from our agency, that we are also supporting startups is one of our activities here. Marketa.
Thank you, Bernardo. Yes, so Bernardo explained to you the challenges, and of course the aim is to encourage you to come up with a new idea or develop something new. However, we wanted to present you examples of how Galileo and Copernicus were used by startups. Many of these startups came out from EUSPA competitions. So, for example, 10 Lines, it's an example of consumer solution. It's an autonomous parking lot solution using GNSS, specifically Galileo, as a source of positioning. And this company, they are from Estonia, and they won My Galileo Solution competition that was organized by EUSPA. And then they were very successful. They received funding from a European venture fund and then continued to commercialize the solution. Another example, it's E2O Green, and it's intelligent platform powered by GNSS, AI, but also Earth observation, and they are also using IoT. And this solution is created for golf course and urban green space management companies. Another examples, next slide, please. Yes, other examples, these applications are using Galileo, not Copernicus. They are powered by Galileo. And they are representatives of mHealth and sport well-being category. So for example, Oculus Tracker, it's a GNSS tracker for alpine ski racers. And they are using GNSS high precision to provide analysis of the sportsman performance directly to a smartphone or tablet or computer. Another example, Follow Me by RunBlind. Yes, thank you. It's a precision guidance solution based on sound and augmented reality. And it's this product is easy to use, product dedicated to visually impaired people for outdoor activities. Next one. UpZero, it was a winner of My Galileo drone competition, and it's also representative of health application. And they developed navigation system for unique tracking of intelligent life-saving capsule for autonomous delivery of medical goods. And they are using Galileo as a source of positioning. Next slide.
Sorry.
Next slide, please. Thank you. And this is an example of a product using data from Copernicus. It's called UV Bodyguard, and it warns you before you get sunburned. It's a variable, and it measures UV radiation, sends the data to your smartphone, and provide you with warning or a guidance. And for example, this solution using Sentinel data and UV forecast from a Copernicus atmosphere monitoring service. Next slide, please. Other applications benefiting from Copernicus, for example, Discover Air, that keeps residents and visitors in Greece and Cyprus healthy. It recommends optimal time to visit a given location using information such as air quality, UV index, pollen, and temperature. Also, Pacifo, it's personal allergy symptom forecasting system. And it's an application that helps you to manage allergy symptoms. And it uses also Copernicus atmosphere monitoring data, especially about pollen, to give advice to people with allergy or to breathing problems. Next slide, please. Yes, Argo, it's a mobile application. It's also a winner of one of the EUSPA competition. And it's a mobile app using geolocation and augmented reality. And it allows users to catch prices and coupons in specific places. Next slide. Another different example, Vision Encore. It's a basically digital encore for boats. And it uses Galileo as a source of positioning. And there is also interface in a form of smartphone. So it gives you information about position of the encore via mobile app. Another slide, please. So these were some examples of startups that already leveraged Galileo or Copernicus data. But of course, there are many opportunities how this data can be used. So we are looking forward to see your proposals. And I would like to also take this opportunity and summarize briefly what kind of tools and opportunities for innovators, startups, entrepreneurs EUSPA is offering. So there are various tools. Here you can see the summary. One big group of support is under Cassini and entrepreneurship area. Cassini is a European Union program supporting space startups. And it's focused on development of application and services, and it stimulates innovation and entrepreneurship in the aerospace ecosystem. And I will give you more information about this on the next slide as well. But just to give you a complete overview, EUSPA is also managing Horizon Europe goals that foster adoption of Galileo, EGNOS, and Copernicus via application development. Then fundamental elements, it's another funding tool that focuses rather on application development. It focuses on development of a hardware, meaning receivers, antennas, or chipsets. And then adoption grants, and this focuses on EGNOS, operational implementation, and it's mainly focused on aviation industry. Next slide. But what is really relevant for startups, innovators, and entrepreneurs, it's this Cassini program that covers a wide range of activities. And EUSPA is managing different activities under this Cassini program. For example, Cassini hackathons. There was already 4 Cassini hackathons this autumn to stimulate new ideas of using space data. Then Cassini My EUSPace, we already launched the second edition of this My EUSPace competition, and it focuses and supports startups to develop ideas, prototypes, and final products. I mentioned Horizon Europe, I mentioned fundamental elements, but we work with startups even further after the hackathons and competition. If the startup, or if you are interested to become in our startup network, we work closely individually with the startups, helping them to connect with investors, to connect with EIC Accelerator or another European fund, or to connect with final customers. So EUSPA have contacts with industry, also organize networking events or support with promotion. Next slide, please. And I mentioned the EUSPA network of startups. So the alumni network of EUSPA hackathons and competition reaches almost 1,000 innovators and startups. You can see pictures of past competition focusing on Galileo solutions, but also drones, or my EUSPace competition that challenges startups to develop solutions under very different categories. And yeah, and basically the startups from the network addresses various application areas ranging from Green Deal, smart cities, mobility, logistics, crisis emergency response, or cybersecurity. Next slide, please. Yeah, and something that might be interesting for you as well is that EUSPA last month launched a new My EUSPace competition as a part of Cassini program. And it encourages entrepreneurs, startups, scale-ups, students to develop idea, prototype, or a final product using space data. And there is a prize pool of 1 million. And there will be around 30 awards awarded during the program. And if you are interested to learn more, there is a link, so you can have a look. And the application period is still open. Next slide, please. And another tool that we thought might be interesting for you is EUSPA Space Academy. And it's a series of trainings, workshop, one-to-one mentoring for basically anyone who is interested in space and and also the commercialization part around space. So there are topics covered such as EU space data and signals, team and resources, customer and sales, product, business, finance, and legal. And this training is free of charge, and you can join anytime, and also you can see the link on the screen. Next slide, please. And finally, soon there will be a new Horizon Europe call open. So this is an overview of the topics that will be there. If you are interested, I recommend to visit EUSPA website and see the details. And once it's open, you can read all the information. Next slide, please. Yeah, so that's it from our side. Thank you very much for your attention. We are here to answer any of your questions if you are interested. Maybe one thing I'm thinking, if we can to put to a chat, we have a dedicated email address, entrepreneurship@euspa.
Yes.
It's not in the presentation, so we can maybe put it in a chat if it's possible. And if any startup or innovator is interested to get in touch with us or receive a regular newsletter of the opportunities, you can write us there and we will get back to you, or we will put you to the newsletter distribution list and you will receive any news from EUSPA that are relevant for startups. So thank you very much, and we are happy to answer any of your questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Marketa and Bernardo. I don't know if anybody has some specific questions. Let me just remind everyone, as Marketa has just said, that the link is in the chat if you want to have some more details or some specific information about EUSPA. Okay. They ask, can we have the slides, please? So
the slides,
I don't know.
yes, slides will be available, I understand, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
For us, we will have the presentation. It will be available. It will be the video. It won't be the slides per se, but yes, you will have access to the slides on the video, so you can take all the elements you need afterwards. Yes. Does anyone have some questions? Maybe more specifically to the challenges, the two challenges. I mean, they were really clear. So it's a very interesting to see some challenges that are really using space data to cover some more some elements that are related to the everyday life. So that's very interesting because not all the challenges are on these aspects. So, for example, for me, as I'm not a specialist, that speaks to me a lot. So that's challenge number one. That's challenge number two on the next slide. Space My Life with Copernicus and Galileo. I don't know if do we have some questions, everyone? We've got 34 people present at the moment on the live webinar. It's the moment if you want to ask questions. Maybe they just send you some emails and some information at the link you provided. Maybe we have a question. Apparently everything was clear. That's what Lala says, so she doesn't have any question. Someone is asking, when are we presenting? So that's a question that I can ask. The presentations will be made on the second day of the hackathon, so they will be made on the 19th. Okay, so on the 18th you start the hackathon, then you have your 24 hours. First you have, of course, to inscribe, but then to make your team. and then to decide with your team which challenge you want to work on. And then you have your 24 hours. Of course, it works the same in every city in the world. So you will have on site, you will have some experts in your city, but there will also be some online experts available on the website once you have formed your team. So you will be able to chat with them. Some will be available at some times and some will be available at some other time, depending on where they live. Of course, there will be some experts from France, but some experts from everywhere in the world also. And some experts will be more on the technical aspects. Some experts will be more on the business aspects, because everything is important in this hackathon. The project has to be on every aspect of your future startup, let's hope. So yes, you are presenting around 3 or 4 in the afternoon of the Saturday, 19th of November, to a jury in your town. I've got another question. Hello, I would like to ask if the day of the challenge, what we should know to expect regarding the process of development. The process of development for the challenge you will be presenting will not be complete, obviously. You have 24 hours to work on the challenge, so you will have some basic elements. I mean, you will work as much as you can, but you cannot provide a complete full project. I mean, it's a project, that's the name. So you have to work on it with your colleagues on the different aspects, as I said, technical, business, everything. What I advise you to do, if you have some questions about what is requested of you, is to go on the ActInSpace website and to download. You go in the tool section in the ActInSpace website and you download the different guides. There are some guides for the participants, what is requested of the participants. There are some guides for the jury as well. So what the jury expects of the participants of the team presenting a challenge. And you also have the grid, what is graded. There's as I said, technical part, business part, etc., etc. And you will find precisely what is requested of a project, so you know exactly how to work it. Okay. There's another question. Hello to all. By technical aspect, is it okay to use other free APIs to implement our idea in combination with Galileo and Copernicus APIs as well? So Bernardo or Marketa?
Yeah, from our side, there is no limitation on that. All application, all APIs available can be leveraged for the development of solutions.
Yeah. And also it can be combined with other sources of data, if this is the question.
Yes, this is exactly the question. Thank you. Someone asked, should we send our challenge on email or it's only for presentation? No, it will be for the presentation. It has to be in front of the jury. So depending on where you have your hackathon, in which city, some cities are doing the hackathon, most of them on site. Some of them are doing hybrid. So if you're, or sometimes they're doing it completely virtual. It's the fewest cases it's virtual. If it's in that case, I suppose you get in touch with your the organizer, your organizing city, and you see how you have to do the presentation. Of course, if it's virtual or hybrid, but otherwise you have to go on site and present in front of the jury. Okay. Ioannis is saying thank you very much. Thank you, Ioannis. There's some other questions, either to related to the 2 challenges for EUSPA or to the organization of the hackathon. What if I was the only member in the team who work? That means you have many members, but you're the only one working. I think a team has to be between 2 and 5. So I don't think you can manage it alone, because there are many levels to work on, and anyway you'll have to be at least 2 to be a team. So find the good people. If you don't find them, as I say, like if you don't know many people working in your field, go on the website, see the other people who have already registered, and they are supposed to put, as you have done when you registered, your fields of interest. So for example, you're more a technical person, you want to find someone who is more related to, I don't know, communication, business, etc., to make the team as diverse as possible. This will help you in your work. So that was from Bachayer. Other questions, maybe? Is everything okay? Well, I think this presentation was very, very clear anyway. We've got some thank you. Let me see. Is it to be interesting? I don't understand your question, Moat. Is it has to be what I'm interested in or what my background? I don't think there's the end of your sentence. I think you're asking if the challenge you are gonna choose has to be something you're interested in or something related to your background. I don't know if I'm correct. It's up to you. It's up to you, Moat. Okay. It depends if you want. It depends really. Your aim, you're participating in a hackathon, so your aim is also to participate, but also to win. So there are some great prizes in your city, and then maybe if you come to France, if you're the winning team in your city, in your country. Depending on what you want to do exactly, the best thing is to mix the two, your interest and your background. But you may want to tackle something that is not your background and you're interested in, but find the right person in to join you in your team, who maybe if you go into something that is not your background, maybe it's their background. Okay. The most important thing I think as a team is maybe to mix it as much as possible. As long as you have found a common challenge to work on, mix the backgrounds. Mix the backgrounds, I would say. Any other questions? I hope everything was clear to you.
Maybe, Michal, let me say something to the participants. I would like to encourage them after the ActInSpace hackathon to consider the My EUSPace competition that Marketa presented. I think this is a good opportunity that they can take to continue developing their ideas. That maybe here in the ActInSpace they can polish an idea and present for you, but then can maybe work further and participate in our competition that is going to be still open for a couple of weeks. In this regard, next week there will be a webinar, so everyone who would like to have more information about this competition can register and learn more about this competition that we are organizing in parallel.
Absolutely, you're right, Bernardo. There are many opportunities for young future entrepreneurs or developers, engineers to work on different, I'd say, hackathons or events like you're doing as well. That's very good. Okay, so I think there's not any more questions. I'll give you one more minute if you want. But yes, don't hesitate to go on the EUSPA website and to talk to Bernardo and Marketa to have more information about what they're proposing as well, their webinars. Okay, so I would like to thank everyone, and especially Marketa and Bernardo for their very interesting presentation and very clear as well. Thank you very much, and for your challenges. I think they'll be they'll be chosen by quite a number of participants.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you all, and looking forward to see the solutions that the participant will present.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
thank you very much, everyone. And I remind everyone who has been watching this presentation, the webinar will be online soon on the ActInSpace website. So keep in touch. And if we don't talk to you until then, good luck for the hackathon. And good luck to everyone, and have a nice hackathon. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.